What if I told you that the single biggest reason you're tired, anxious, and aging faster than you should may not be stress, lack of sleep, or even your diet, but a mineral deficiency so common that up to 75% of adults are walking around with it right now? And here's the kicker. Most doctors won't catch it, even if you ask them to test for it. I'm talking about magnesium, and the truth is, if you're deficient, which statistically you probably are, your cells are struggling to produce energy, your DNA is accumulating damage, and your biological clock is ticking faster than it needs to. But before you panic, here's the good news. Fixing this is simpler than you think, and the payoff for longevity is massive. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to tell if you're deficient, why standard blood tests miss it, and the 3 steps to restore your levels in a way that actually moves the needle on healthy aging. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll have a clear, actionable plan that could add years to your health span. Let me start with something that surprised me when I first dug into the research. Magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in your body. 300. That includes everything from energy production in your mitochondria to DNA repair, blood pressure regulation, and even the synthesis of glutathione, which is one of your body's most powerful antioxidants. So when you're low on magnesium, it's not just one system that suffers, it's a cascade. Your cells can't make ATP efficiently, which is the energy currency your body runs on. Your nervous system becomes hyperexcitable, which is why anxiety and muscle cramps are such classic signs. And your cardiovascular system takes a hit, increasing your risk for everything from high blood pressure to heart disease. Now, you'd think something this important would be closely monitored, right? But here's where it gets frustrating. The standard serum magnesium test that most doctors order only measures the magnesium floating around in your blood, which represents less than 1% of your body's total magnesium stores. The rest is locked inside your cells and bones. So you can have a normal blood test and still be functionally deficient where it matters most. This is why magnesium deficiency is often called the invisible deficiency. So why are so many of us low in the first place? There are a few big reasons. First, modern agriculture has depleted soil magnesium levels, which means the food we eat today contains significantly less magnesium than it did 50 years ago. Second, our diets have shifted. We're eating more processed foods and refined grains, which are stripped of magnesium during processing, and fewer magnesium-rich whole foods like leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and legumes. Third, chronic stress, which, let's be honest, most of us are dealing with, burns through magnesium like crazy. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline, and that process requires magnesium. So stress depletes it, and low magnesium makes you more sensitive to stress. It's a vicious cycle. Add in things like alcohol, caffeine, certain medications like proton pump inhibitors and diuretics, and even intense exercise, and you've got a perfect storm for deficiency. Now, let me explain why this matters so much for longevity. Magnesium plays a direct role in protecting your telomeres, which are the protective caps on the ends of your chromosomes. Every time your cells divide, your telomeres get a little shorter, and when they get too short, your cells stop dividing and enter a state called senescence, which is a hallmark of aging. Research has shown that people with higher magnesium intake have longer telomeres, which is associated with slower biological aging. Magnesium also supports mitochondrial function, and your mitochondria are the powerhouses of your cells. When they're healthy, you have more energy, better resilience, and less oxidative stress. But when magnesium is low, mitochondrial efficiency drops, and you start accumulating cellular damage. On top of that, magnesium is critical for maintaining insulin sensitivity, which is one of the most important markers of metabolic health and longevity. Low magnesium is strongly associated with insulin resistance, which accelerates aging and increases your risk for type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and even certain cancers. But before I get into how to fix this, we need to talk about something most people get wrong. A lot of people think they can just take a magnesium supplement and call it a day. But not all magnesium is created equal, and if you choose the wrong form, you might not absorb much of it, or worse, you might end up spending your money on a laxative. Let me break this down for you in the next section, because understanding which type of magnesium to take is just as important as taking it in the first place. Okay, so let's talk about the different forms of magnesium and why this matters. Magnesium oxide, which is one of the most common forms you'll find in drugstore supplements, has a very low absorption rate, around 4%. That means most of it just passes through your digestive system without getting into your cells. It's cheap, but it's not effective for correcting deficiency. On the other hand, magnesium glycinate, magnesium citrate, and magnesium threonate are much better absorbed. Magnesium glycinate is my go-to recommendation for most people because it's gentle on the stomach, highly absorbable, and it has a calming effect, which is great if you struggle with sleep or anxiety. Magnesium citrate is also well absorbed, but it has a mild laxative effect, so it's useful if you tend toward constipation. Magnesium threonate is unique because it crosses the blood-brain barrier more effectively, which makes it particularly good for cognitive health and neuroprotection. There's also magnesium malate, which is often recommended for people dealing with chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia because it supports energy production. The key takeaway here is this: if you're going to supplement, invest in a high-quality, well-absorbed form. Check the label for magnesium glycinate, citrate, or threonate, and avoid anything that just says magnesium without specifying the form. All right, so here's the action plan. This is what I want you to walk away with today. First, focus on magnesium-rich foods. Aim to eat dark leafy greens like spinach, Swiss chard, and kale. Add pumpkin seeds, almonds, cashews, and Brazil nuts to your routine. Include black beans, lentils, and chickpeas. And don't forget dark chocolate. 70% cacao or higher is a solid source, and let's be honest, it's the most enjoyable one. Second, if you're going to supplement, start with 300 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate per day, taken with food to improve absorption. If you're over 50 or dealing with chronic stress or intense training, you might need closer to 500 milligrams, but work up gradually to avoid digestive upset. I've linked to some products I recommend in the description if you want to check them out. Third, reduce the things that deplete magnesium. Cut back on caffeine and alcohol. Manage stress with practices like breathwork, meditation, or even just daily walks. And if you're on medications that interfere with magnesium, talk to your doctor about monitoring your levels. Fourth, optimize absorption by making sure you're getting enough vitamin D because magnesium and vitamin D work synergistically. Magnesium is needed to convert vitamin D into its active form, and vitamin D helps regulate magnesium balance. Fifth, consider topical magnesium if you have digestive issues that make oral supplementation difficult. Magnesium oil or Epsom salt baths can help boost levels through the skin. Here's the bottom line. Magnesium deficiency is one of the most underdiagnosed and overlooked contributors to accelerated aging. And the crazy part is, it's also one of the easiest to fix. You don't need expensive tests, exotic supplements, or a complete lifestyle overhaul. You just need to understand what's happening in your body, make a few strategic changes to your diet and supplementation, and give it a few weeks to take effect. The research is clear. Adequate magnesium intake is associated with longer telomeres, better mitochondrial function, improved insulin sensitivity, lower inflammation, and a significantly reduced risk of age-related diseases. Thank you for spending your time here. I'm grateful you're on this journey with me. Wishing you practical progress and good health. If you found this helpful, I've got more eye-opening research on longevity compounds that most people have never heard of. Click the video that just appeared on your screen to discover the next piece of the healthy aging puzzle.